Hello and welcome to round 4 of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter OctoberFAST season presented by Raceverse. So this series runs a BMW Z4, or Z4 as one of my friends says. Z4 competed in such series as the American and European Le Mans series as well as the United Sports Car Championship before it was replaced by the M6 GTLM. So tonight we're here at the Brands Hatch circuit, the home of the British Grand Prix for a number of years. And this is round 4 in the series, so slightly less car count tonight. Our winner from last week is not here tonight, but our runner-up is. I think both our second and third place cars are going to be looking strong from that race. And so this particular series, we've got some more plans for this series, but this particular 5-race season basically is heading to a bunch of different marquee European tracks. We've ran Zandvoort, Spa-Francorchamps, Barcelona, and so tonight we're running Brands Hatch, and next week we'll be running Nürburgring Grand Prix. Let's have a quick look at our championship battle here. So Peter Lanik, currently 47 points. He's in first. Chris Hill, our winner from last week, 43 points. Ryan Kennedy, he's had a couple podium finishes this season, doing quite well. Yakov Bielik, so he won't be able to join the race tonight. He's taking care of his wife, and we wish the best for her, and best hope that Yakov is back next week at Nürburgring. Hendrik Dezort, so he was not at the first race, but he's shown up and is strong in this series. Rafael Torres, also he was not here last week, but strong in the first race. Darren Treacle, one of our also newcomers last week, second place finish, and he jumped up the board there on the points, even though that was his first start. Colin Kordenik in 18 points. Dave Fitzgerald, so he's missed the last couple rounds as well, but strong in the first round. He's at 18 points, and Joseph Getridis winds out the top 10 in points. So this is the OctoberFAST season. The series here, BMW Car Club of American National Capital Chapter NCC Sim Racing. So if you're looking for a sports car series on iRacing, this is one that you might be looking at. They run almost every week, every Thursday, sprint race style as we head into qualifying. We've got about 14 minutes left. We're watching, I believe that is Stephen Tenney out there on the track as we pull up everything. So yep, that is Stephen Tenney. Let me show the board here. Some nice sound of the cars out here. I'm gonna drown out my voice a little bit. So let's see where we stand at the moment. Darren Treacle. Torres is out here, so he'll be in here tonight. I wasn't sure. He did not make last race, so he'll be out here. Treacle currently provisional pole, 1 minute 25.273. I believe Treacle and Hendrik Dezort were both in the 24s in practice, and they did have also part of this league. They usually run a warm-up kind of practice session, 20-minute race on Wednesday nights. But yeah, you can check them out. Just search in the iRacing leagues for BMW CCA NCC, and also just you can hit me up on Twitter, any of the social medias in the links below, and I can set you up with how to join this league. The field is growing every week. A little bit down this week, but I know we were talking about this track is a little bit tight, and you know, tough out there. So let's head up to Treacle, who's going to be laying down on the flyer. And so he navigates through Paddock Hill Bend into the Druids. It's going to come out of Graham Hill and Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight. You can take that wide, as he does, the car ahead of him. Of course, there's a lot of lap traffic can happen here. Not quite as bad as Brands Hatch Indy. I ran a race there as Treacle had done a minute 24 there. I want to look at Zandvoort there and see if he can knock him off. I do see that we're having some slight technical difficulties with the overlay here, so I'm going to go ahead and reset that, so I'll have to be right back here. Alright, we are back. You probably still heard all of the engines, but something up with our overlay was not showing the correct positioning there. As you can see, Treacle was at the top and it was saying Zandvoort. Hendrick there was... I knew he was in a 24 looking at my timing screen, but it was showing him 3 seconds off, so that has now been corrected. Alright, so we have Hendrick heading around the track. It looks like... Is that Treacle ahead of him? No, that is not Treacle. That is... Is that Bradford? That is Bradford, who has not set a fast lap at this point, so Hendrick is going to head around him. Going to be... So Kennedy is navigating through Paddock Hill Bend. See if we can get some nice camera angles here. This classic British racing course. So we didn't get to run a full lap, but we had Graham Hill Bend here onto the Cooper Straight. Let's just go on board here with Brian Kennedy and let's have him take us around the track. So he is navigating down the Pilgrims Drop, right before Hawthorne Hill, Hawthorne Corner, down the Derek Minter Straight, and into Westfield Corner. And then this will be, this short little curving straight is Dingledell Straight, and then the Skeen curve ahead. And on into the Sterlings. Through Clearways onto Clark Curve, obviously named after Jim Clark, onto the Brabham Straight, named after Brabham. A lot of different corners at this track are named after famous British or Commonwealth drivers, for that matter. So I'll head, let me just show you the best laps here. So we have Treacle in a minute 24. Zandvoort will still be looking around. It looks like he still dealing with traffic here. So he's got Robert Stokes ahead of him And I don't recall that car ahead of him. That will be, so Stokes was that one. Here we go, newcomer this week, Sten Cellier. We'll have to get a correction on that if I'm mispronouncing that. It could just be Seller. But first time out here this week, so I try to study the names here. Yeah, look at that, Julian. Matt Houston in 15th. He's going to stay there. Oh, looks like Sten there had an off, but all things considered, looks pretty good. Head back up to Hendrick up here. Looks like he's finally found some clean air and take us around the course here. Yeah, Matt Houston, he won't even be doing a start and park. He'll just be running, he's not going to grid, not going to run a lap here in the qualifying or the race. So really good battle between Hendrick and Treacle last week. King kind of pulled away from them, but it looks like we're going to have another battle between the pair tonight. I did see that Hendrick here did run a little bit wide in Paddock Hill Bend in that warm-up race we had last night. As we have just about 6 minutes left in qualifying. So Kordenek, he's actually had a kind of a string of, you know, maybe not the best races in this league. He, in the warm-up race, so the first round that we did, let me think, it was Okayama, and he did get a podium there, I believe, and he hasn't repeated a podium, and he's had a lot of issues at the start of the races. He's, I believe he was 7th or 8th in points, so he's going to be looking to have a good start here. It looks like he's practiced and he's ready to go for Brands Hatch here. But that field is really tight there between third through 5th. It's good to have Dave Fitzgerald back here, Brands Hatch. So Scott Kim in the 9th position. We had a little discussion about the track because he'd never driven this track before this week. He's currently in 9th, so he's kind of learning it as they go. Not a bad lap at 1:27. I kind of told him to watch out for that first corner. That's a real roller coaster and kind of sets you up for the lap. And it sounded like he really agreed with that. We also had the drivers talking about, so this is the Druids, kind of a passing point there, but it can look like a better passing point than it really is when you're following a car. So, you know, there could be some contact at that corner, especially on the start coming up. So we'll see if, so Kim did improve. That last lap was his fastest. He broke into the 26s. And Hendrick here also inching ever closer to Treacle's top lap as the fuel comes down on these cars. I don't know if the strategy here is to maybe take a new set of tires right at the end of the stint. Maybe you're going to have, it's fixed setups here in this league. I guess I didn't mention that earlier, but you might want to burn fuel and then pit for fresh tires and come back out. It'll take a lap or two to warm those tires up, but we'll see as he Treacle and Deswart stay out on the track, and they're both hitting 1 minute 24 laps, so really tight between them. We're going to look forward to a really strong race up here at the front. So Brian Kennedy has knocked Kordenik out of the top 3. Fitzgerald's on the pit lane, as is Rafael Torres. So he was running some laps this week from Homestead, Miami, Roval. Very cool to see. He does basically track days in the BMW M4. Peter Lanik also on the pit lane. So Lanik, our points leader, looking to kind of solidify this thing. But especially with Chris Hill, our second place in the championship, not making it this weekend. Although last week he came in right about this time in the qualifying session. He laid down a flyer and ended up winning that race. Bradford's still on the pit lane. Sten here has moved up to 13th. Stephen Tenney, I was looking at his car. We were getting some photos, and I thought that was a really cool livery that he has there. I don't know about the Gran Turismo on the top of the windshield. Gran Turismo, the real driving simulator. I think we've got the real driving simulator right here, but very cool livery. I've liked that one every week we've seen it. Scott Kim stayed in 9th. A little bit surprised again by Rafael here, but he hasn't laid down that many laps, so it's going to be interesting to see how he comes up through the field. This looks like Hendrick, we've got a minute left in qualifying, so they'll have a minute and then probably another minute and a half to complete any laps out there, but Hendrick's coming up to, I believe that's Robert Stokes, but it might be Robert Benson. Yes, it's Robert Benson in the one car. But obviously that is going to slow down Hendrick here. Treacle's still lapping in the Yokohama car. Zwart here catching up to that Falcon tire machine of Robert Benson. Gonna want to get around him. And he should have, if he can get across the start-finish line, he will have one more lap as the time, 10 seconds from running out. He'll have one more flyer out here. As he heads through Paddock Hill Bend. Let's go on board once again with Hendrick. Navigates through the Druids, Hairpin. In the Brands Hatch Indy course, one of the best passing points, really the main passing point, through Graham Hill Bend. But this is the full course, and there's a couple more passing points on here. Through Surtees. And on to Pilgrim's Drop. Through the gears. A lot of elevation change at this track. Through Hawthorne Hill. The short straight, another passing zone we'll see in the race. Through Westfield Corner. Onto Dingledale Straight. These are the most British sounding names for straightaways and corners. Onto the Sterlings. Whoa, and he loses it, so that will not be his fastest lap of the... He's gonna call it a day. See, looks like Lanik made it up to 6th there. Gatrides still out here. They have matching cars. Not teammates, though. So again, we're sorry to hear that Yakov Bielik not out here tonight, but we're wishing him and his wife the best. And we hope to see him here next week for Nürburgring Grand Prix. Getridis does a 1 minute 26 on that final lap. Not better than his last. We have a little bit of crowd noise there. All right, we're going to be heading to the grid. Do a quick run through of the grid. So we have Darren Treacle on the pole and Hendrik de Zwart in second, Brian Kennedy in third, Colin Kordenik in fourth, Dave Fitzgerald in fifth, Rafael Torres in sixth. Oops. We have Peter Lanik in seventh, Joseph Getridis in eighth, Scott Kim in ninth, Robert Stokes in 10th, Robert Benson in 11th, Stephen Tenney in 12th, moving up, and Sten Sellier in 13th, Tim Bradford in 14th, and yours truly in 15th will not be starting this race. And it looks like, okay, last night we actually had a rolling start. I think that was a mistake. And we'll see as we go here. Once everybody gets on the track here, let's see if we can get a little bit better camera angle. A little bit tighter on the field here. How about this one here? So Treacle and de Zwart there are going to be really exciting into Paddock Hill Bend coming up. Be a 30-minute race. We're approximating 22 laps. More laps than we've had in some of our previous races, a quick lap, compared to some of our 2-minute courses that we've had. Still waiting on a car to grid. That might be Rafael Torres, our 6th place qualifier. Might be why he didn't lay down a better lap. Or maybe he's starting from the pits. These drivers are getting anxious on the grid here. I can hear. Here we go. Lights are coming on. And we're waiting for a green flag. Still waiting on our green flag. This is one of the longest waits on the grid so far. Green flag, there we go. Treacle had a slower start. Hendrik is going to go through Paddock Hill Bend on the outside. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact. Kennedy is going to look on the inside of Treacle through the Hawthorns, or sorry, through the Druids. Kennedy is going to take the lead. We're going to have to get a replay of that start, though. Another car, I think that was Stokes, off in the back. Looks like he corrected it, and Kennedy comes back on the outside, heading through Surtees. He's leaving plenty of room. He might have seen that little bit of contact between Treacle and Hendrik back there. And Treacle takes the lead. So I can't imagine Hendrik back here in 13th position is too happy. So let's get a replay of that start if we can. Let's go on board with... Oh, you couldn't even see it on the onboard. Tough getting out of that kitty litter there. Let's get one more replay here. Let's go from the blimp cam here. So you can see there's some slight contact. It didn't look like Treacle really went wide or anything like that, but unfortunate there for Hendrik. And we'll head back to live pictures here. So we had Treacle, some kind of issue here in the pit lane. Might have had a penalty, or we might have missed something. I think we might have had some contact between. So I guess Joseph Getridis taking the lead. We had some contact, I think. Yes, we did. Let's go back even further in the replay. I apologize that it's going to take us a moment. We're just going to rewind this thing and go to the... So a lot of contact for Treacle. Oh, we went back to the lead. Or to them. I don't want to spend too much time trying to find this replay here. We'll just head to the front, so... Contact, though, between Catridis. It's going to set up an interesting battle here. I thought for a moment that we might have had a penalty or something with... Atlantic is still on pit lane. That's bad for his championship. We just had a lot of contact in that first lap. Joseph Catridis taking the lead. Scott Kim, our admin, in second place. He has to be happy how this particular race has gone so far. I apologize that we couldn't get a better replay there. But I want to give these guys that are now in the lead, and I see Hendrick is heading back through the field. He's all the way up to 5th once again, so... I'm gonna try to see if I can find that replay here between Treacle. Treacle's all the way back up to 8th already, so let's see if we can find this replay here. So Treacle was in the lead, and we had Kennedy behind him. We had a car going wide that was... So there had to be contact at some point here. Treacle goes a little bit wide. Oh, I see. It wasn't... It was... oh, man. And Fitzgerald goes a little bit wide, too, and gets into Brian Kennedy as well. Unfortunate. So that was our contact there. Wow. So back up to the lead. Joseph Catridis still leading. Scott Kim is second, our admin. Robert Benson as third. Dave Fitzgerald's moved up to 4th. Hendrick's all the way back. That was a lapped car ahead or behind Fitzgerald there. Hendrick is in 5th. Colin Kordenek in 6th position. It looks like he had a little bit of front damage there. Stephen Tenney is in the 7th position. Darren Treacle in the 8th position. So Raphael did make it out. I'm not sure. Oh, he goes a little bit wide just as we put the camera right on him. He's in the dust on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend there. Now into the Druids. Robert Stokes was that car that went off at the very, very early in the race there. Sten has moved up here. Let's put on our follower here. So there's a lot of action there. I had to catch up with all of this going on here. Peter Lanik, our pole sitter, already, or it's not our pole sitter, our championship leader, a lap down. He needs to get up to 10th to be able to capture some points. Might be doable. Brian Kennedy also involved in that contact. You can see that rear wing is not looking too good. And Tim Bradford circulating around a little bit slow, a little bit off stalling, it sounds like. Catridis has gaps just slightly as Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's fast. We know him from the first couple rounds that he can get around here. He's kind of I wouldn't say he's the min in this league, but he's one of the guys that helps set up this broadcast. And I see Scott Kim lets him go pretty much. Doesn't want to race him, just wants to kind of finish this race as he's going to let Hendrick go by as well. Lennox lap down. That's that white car there, BMW performance car. Also lets the leaders go there. So Fitzgerald, I think Fitzgerald's going to be lining up the leader at this point. We go on board. Take some good amount of curb there. Looks like we're heading, I think that was through Dingledale and then on to Sterling's. And you can see that gap It was over a second. It's now under a second. If this was Formula 1, he'd be in DRS zone, but this will be a difficult place to pass. So he's already brought down to 0.6 of a second. Tim's looking for a good finish back there in 4th, though. He don't want to get wrecked by anybody trying to race him. He just wants to race his own race because he knows he has a 6-7 second lead over 5th place of Benson. Three-tenths of a second between Fitzgerald and Getrides. And you can see Hendrick in 3rd place right there. Fitzgerald looks a little bit on the outside. He's looking to look inside on Getrides. Let's hope that there is no contact between these drivers. Fitzgerald started 5th. Where did Getrides start? I think he started 7th. He started 8th, and he's up to 1st. Great run by him. Hendrick in 3rd has to play it smart. I think he knows he has the speed to get around these guys, and he has 20 minutes left in this race to do it. Fitzgerald is going to look inside. I think that Getrides is kind of given room too, but as they're going to head into Paddock Hill Bend, and are they going to be side by side by the time we get there? No, they will not. And it looks like Fitzgerald's going to look on the inside. This is going to be as Hendrick also thinks about looking on the inside as Fitzgerald takes the lead in the Druids. Through Graham Hill Bend, we have a new leader, Dave Fitzgerald. Hendrick also makes it by Getrides. Getrides drops back. He's got Peter Lanek behind him. He's got a gap, a couple second gap back to Scott Kim. So now we have a battle developing between Hendrick and Fitzgerald. Hendrick started 2nd. He knows he has a fast car. He's got 20 minutes left in this race. How is Treacle doing? Treacle is running in 7th. He's battling through the field. Again, this is a really tough place to pass. So these guys coming through the field are going to have a more difficult time doing it than they had last week at Barcelona or any of the bigger courses that we had, Spa-Francorchamps. Kind of two different lines there for Hendrick and Fitzgerald through that Paddock Hill Bend. Looking through the field, looking at intervals. This is the best battle we have. It's good to have the best battle on the track for the lead. As Fitzgerald looks like he left an open door there through Surtees. So we go on board with Hendrick here. 69 car through Hawthorne Hill. And into Westfield. They both take nice amount of curb. These kind of curbs you can take. They're not the big old sausage curbs that you see a lot of the Formula 1 tracks. As Hendrick goes a little bit wide, but it looks like it's not going to cost him very much there. Little mistake there. Fitzgerald gaps out about a second. It was a little bit more, it was more than that, or less than that a moment ago. Another good battle here between Raphael and Treacle. Raphael started 6th, running 8th, and his last lap, I believe that lap is faster than he qualified at a 1 minute 25.1. Not too far. That's actually, let me look here quick. That's the fastest lap of anybody in this race so far. It's not faster than the pole laps of anybody, but he's certainly quick. Kind of what I've expected from him in qualifying, but he obviously had some sort of issues with his car. We got a couple of really good drivers here. So Treacle was explaining he's an SCCA driver. And Chris Hill is also BMW Performance driver, but he's not here this week. Raphael is also BMW Performance driver. So heading back up to that battle at the front of the pack. Hendrick here, he had gapped it to an 8/10, so he but then he dropped back once again. Obviously, I don't think he had any contact, at least with anything too hazardous when he had that spin, other than with Treacle. So between Fitzgerald and Hendrick here, really tight. Their best laps, their last laps. Fitzgerald's last lap was a 25.3. That's his best lap of the race. Hendrick's last lap was a 25.1, so 0.2 faster. Also his best lap of the race. Back in third, Getrides is almost lapping 2 seconds slower, so he's going to drop back. He's kind of... Scott Kim's running in 26s, so he's also... Everybody's kind of setting their fastest lap at the moment on this track. Tires, less fuel than what we started with, but the tires are kind of at their peak performance here. They haven't fallen off yet. Three-tenths of a second here between Hendrick, and I see lap traffic up ahead. Going on board with Hendrick here as they head through Clark Curve. That lap traffic ahead, I think that's our new driver of Sten Cellier. The worst place you can kind of catch a lapped car is Paddock Hill Bend, the fastest part of the course here, fastest curve of the course anyway. We'll see how these cars get through. And it looks like Sten gets out of the way. Chivalrous driver. Again, really different lines between Fitzgerald and Hendrick here. He looks like he's ready to pass him, though. 3/10 back. But you literally have to be, a half second to a second faster a lap to get around a car. So it's really tough because they're laying laps that are really comparative one another. I know that Hendrick really wants a win here. As he dives inside of Clark Curve, doesn't make it stick. I thought there might be a little bit of contact there. Still inside. I don't think there's going to be enough room to go through Paddock Hill Bend like that, though. Fitzgerald looks to kind of give Hendrick some room, though, if he wanted it. Probably not wanting to receive the chrome horn if he didn't. Getrides in third has dropped back almost 10 seconds from this battle. Scott Kim under pressure from Colin Kordenek. Oh, as we have Kordenek again, the camera causing some issues for him. Unfortunate. He backs across the track. Luckily, no cars coming. And wow, a really bad hit to the rear of his car. Let's head back up to the front. Not the best moment there for Colin Kordenek. Unfortunate that we put him on the camera right at that moment. I apologize there, Colin. As we had a lap car going wide that looked to be Could have been Stephen Tenney, but I don't... It might have been Bradford. I think it was Bradford. Oh, and we have... Sorry, I apologize. Coming back here, these cars... Hendrick has taken the lead. Fitzgerald looks to fight back, though. I didn't... As Fitzgerald goes a little bit wide there. Again, Fitzgerald last lap, that lap traffic, they had some issue and Hendrick was able to get past there. Raphael has passed Robert Benson. Treacle's not too far back from that pair, so really tight battle. These are for position. That is not a lapped car. So Treacle gets past Raphael. Really good battle here between some pair of really good drivers and Raphael and Darren Treacle. Scott Kim, I have to imagine he really wants to get a podium here. His last lap, he had a little bit of an issue there. A couple seconds off, so he's 3 seconds back from Getrides. And I want to head back up to the front because Fitzgerald is maintaining that gap. He's probably not too happy that that lapped car caused some issues with him. And he knows, like, he might have been back in qualifying, starting 5th, but he has a race car that can get up here. And he has some interesting lines through, like, say, Paddock Hill Bend that he can make this work. Yeah, Dave needs to make sure he shows up every week because he'd be a championship contender here in the OctoberFAST season if he can make it every week. So Colin Kordenek, car's not looking the best. He has some front hood damage as well as some rear wing damage, but so does Robert Benson ahead. Another good battle out here on the track. We've got 3 really good battles. We have the battle for first between Hendrick and Fitzgerald. We have a battle for 5th position between Raphael and Darren, right behind him. And we have a good battle. And as I say that, Colin Kordenek goes around Robert Benson, getting the 7th place, started 4th. Obviously had some issues over the course of the race, as we saw on the camera. Treacle in that Yokohama car is pressuring Raphael extensively here. Got some lap traffic. I think that might have been the car that might have caused some issues when Hendrick and Dave Fitzgerald went around him, but he looks to be getting out of the way right here. It's really not... it's really tough for lapped cars to make room at a track that is this tight. We never said, like, going back to the... this is 2.3 and the 9-corner track. That's a very short track. And this is the long version. There's the Brands Hatch Indy. That's... If these cars ran it, they'd be in the 40-second laps, most likely, so... Heading back up to the front. Fitzgerald is only 3 to 4 tenths off. These guys do have an incident limit out here. I believe it's about 10 before a black flag ensues, so they have to keep it on the track and keep from contacting one another, basically. Let's switch over to intervals here. We can, maybe we can't. There we go. Our intervals says that Benson was leading there for a moment as it catches up. Hendrick is still in the lead, so we got a little bit of an issue with our overlay there. Once again, let's see if we can get that to fix itself. We've got good information between Hendrick and Fitzgerald, though, so I don't really want to change it too much. There it goes, it finally reset. Wanted to get back to the gaps, because whatever the intervals were causing us some issues there. Treacle really cannot move up too much further to Raphael there, but as this is going on, Raphael is being caught by, or is catching Scott Kim up there in fourth. I think, so Joseph Gatrides there in third. As Scott Kim kind of gets out of the way there. So, Gatrides is, actually I just see that, I don't know if this is correct information because my overlay is kind of bugging out. Yeah, that is bad information. I see that Hendrick has taken, or Fitzgerald's taken the lead, but I don't think that is accurate information. I had some issues with our overlay this week. There was an iRacing update. Let me be right back real quick. So you guys can hear the cars going as I restart the overlay here. And we are back. So this apparently was accurate information. That Fitzgerald has retaken the lead. There was a mistake by Hendrick at some point. Really good driving by Dave Fitzgerald there. Five laps to go. We're gonna go to 21 laps. Now 4 laps to go as Fitzgerald goes over the line. So Treacle has made it around Raphael, and Joseph Gatrides has dropped out of that podium position. Peter Lanik back here is 7 seconds back on the points. Gonna be a no point score for him. That's gonna be tough. As Fitzgerald leads, so Treacle here has made it back up to the 3rd position after starting first, having that kind of 2 different periods of contact. So he had contact with Hendrick here, then he had contact with Kennedy, and but he's made it back up through the field. Is right, Raphael is right behind him. He's going to want to get into that podium position, as I think that's Peter Lanik getting out of the way there for these drivers on the lead lap. I can see that the fast laps here have kind of trickled up. They were at the 24s at one point in time. They're down to the 25s, and then fastest lap of the race does go to Treacle at the moment. Bradford has dropped out of this race. I can see he's actually been there for probably a while, but I wasn't aware of that until now. Other good battles on the track. So Stokes and Teddy, just like a half second between them. We'll keep an eye on anything that happens at the front. Stokes' car looks in pretty good shape. Teddy's looks like he's had some slight contact there on that front of that car. As I can see the leader coming up ahead of these guys. Hopefully that doesn't cause an issue for him. Might have to ask him about that. How did lap traffic play in this race? Kim's running in 6th. Let's do a quick. We've only have 3 laps to go. So Fitzgerald leads. Hendrick running 2nd, 2 seconds back. Kind of running out of time. Treacle's another 25 seconds back in 3rd. Raphael's getting a little bit of dirt kicked up in 4th. Joseph Katrides in 5th. A really good run for him as he comes under pressure from Scott Kim in 6th. It'd be great for Scott to get a top 5 here. Colin Kornick, that car looks a little bit mangled, but he's running in 7th. Stephen Tenney in 8th. Robert Stokes right behind him in 9th as the leader is coming up on Robert Stokes. Brian Kennedy in 10th. Peter Lanik in 11th out of the points. Stan Cellier, newcomer this week, in 12th. Robert Benson in 13th. And Tim Bradford in the pit lane. So Stokes, Fitzgerald gets around Stokes. Fitzgerald's just gonna take this race by the claws and just did not want to let it go and has run an excellent race here. Excellent driving. Stephen Tenney gets out of the way. That's going to become a battle as I see that gap between Gatrides and Kim has gone up slightly. Really good battle here between Stokes and Tenney as Stokes goes a little bit wide at Panic Hill Bend. He's going to come under pressure from Hendrick here, and we are actually on the final lap. Oh, we might have had another lap in here, but that is exactly as we calculated. 21 of 21 laps. Dave Fitzgerald navigates through Cooper Straight, in through Surtees Corner. For the final time today, Pilgrim's Drop is ahead. And he has a 3.5 second lead. As long as he keeps it on the track. Commanding lead by that Golf car there. Classic sports car livery. Go on board really quick with Fitzgerald here. It's going to come through Clark Curve. And he's going to cross the start finish line. And Dave Fitzgerald is victorious at Brands Hatch. Hendrick Zandvoort will come through in 2nd place, and Darren Treacle will come through in 3rd place, but great job by Dave Fitzgerald to take the victory in this one. I believe he finished 2nd. I'll have to get him to double check that one. Let me look at my points here. So I believe this is the only round that he's joined in. So he is, yeah, he finished 2nd in that first race that he did. So we will be right back as Dave celebrates, and we'll get some podium interviews here. As we are back, let's see if we can get to talk to anybody out here. So we have Darren's up there. See, his microphone's muted. Let's get an interview with our victor, Dave Fitzgerald there. We can anyway. Oh, I see Darren's there, so I'm going to bring him up to the booth. Hey, Darren, you're up in the booth here. Congratulations on your third place. You had that pole position. Tell us about your race. You had a little bit of contact there near the beginning.
Yeah, well, me and Hendrick kind of came together there, going into turn one down the hill a little bit, cold tires, and we're all excited. But so that slowed Hendrick up, and then or spun him or something, and then later, a little bit later in the lap, I just dropped. I don't remember what turn it was, but
I think it
I just
was
dropped.
near what's called Westfield. I don't have numbers, but
Yeah,
Westfield corner.
it's a kind of a fast right-hander up top of the hill in the back section, and I dropped a tire on the outside
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, and that was just enough to spin me around. And so then I got obviously I was damaged a little bit, so I went into the pits and did a fast repair, and then put my head down, came back out, and just tried to turn as quick of a lap as I could each lap and be consistent to try to work my way back up.
I
So
do believe that you had the fastest lap of the race, so congratulations on that.
thank you.
Really good run through, and you got around. Raphael didn't make it easy for you there.
No, he didn't. I actually I lost my my bearings a little bit there going into a man, I don't know what number it is, but it's the left-hander, and I was like, "Uh-oh." And he got by, and then the same turn a little later, he got held up, which allowed me by I can't remember who it was, but I think he was the third place guy at the time. And then
Joseph,
I was able,
maybe. Yeah.
yeah, and I was able to get by both of them. So that kind of worked out for me. But yeah, no, Raphael never makes it easy.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, congratulations on the third here. Maybe next week you'll put it on victory lane.
Hey, maybe say, hey, I got the pole in the fast lap. That's something.
That is
So,
something. Anybody you want to thank out there? Any sponsors? That kind of stuff?
oh, Treacle Insurance Agency, Haggerty Motorsports. I'll even give a shout out to Carbo Tech Brakes, Anger Sheet Motorsports for help. These are all obviously my real life contingency sponsor type folks that help
Mm-hmm.
me with my race car. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, and we'll. Any thoughts about where are we? Nürburgring next week. Not Nordschleife though, but Nürburgring Grand Prix.
Yeah, the formula
Current Formula
Formula
One.
One
Yeah.
track. Yeah. It should be interesting. It's actually a fun track, so I think it's going to be. It's not as tight as this as Brands Hatch was,
No, it's not.
which I knew Brands Hatch was going to be an interesting one anyway. But it's a fun track. So
As long as you're not doing Brands Hatch Indy, you guys were going to be okay.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, you take care of yourself.
you too.
Yep. Thanks. If I can, there we go. Hey, Hendrik, got you up in the booth here. Congratulations on second place.
What a lovely surprise.
Well, take us through that first lap and through the rest of the race after that.
Oh boy. So right off the start, I got a really good launch again. And admittedly, I did try to come over and crowd Darren a little bit, and I touched him a little bit, and then I backed off. But I felt like I'd given him enough room. But I think just cold tires and blood pumping for both of us got the better of the situation and wound up in the gravel. And from there, it was just all about trying to drive a recovery race. Except that then next thing I knew, I was in the lead, which was another pleasant surprise. But yeah, no, I had I figured out the pace. I really figured out some good lines, and was just trying to put as much pressure on Dave as I possibly could. Sticking my nose in sometimes, even when I knew there wasn't going to be a really much of a shot. But like not trying to dive bomb, but just make sure that he knew that I was trying to find a way past.
Yeah, I
And then
certainly did notice that you guys had different lines. I pointed that out that there were certainly different lines through these corners, and you were making your presence known there. So really good recovery.
there's a couple opportunities where you can come inside. I think it's gosh, I'm trying to think of the turn names here off the top of my head, and I'm struggling.
Well, the hairpin is called Druids. That's kind of one of the best passing points, but
So Druids actually ends up being not that great because that apex comes up so quickly that
mhm.
you can kind of get into trouble. Where I was actually having some fun with was going into Surtees because most people take a really wide line and then come in towards the end for a late apex
Mhm.
to go onto Pilgrim's Drop for a nice run. And if you just can get the timing just right, you can come alongside and chase them into Hawthorne. But just made that mistake and hit the wall going into or coming out of Dingledale Corner, which that whole complex, Dingledale Corner and going into Sterling's was sort of my black beast for
Hey,
a couple sessions.
you really know the corner names here.
Well, I'm cheating. I've got the track map up in front of
Okay,
me.
there you go. I mean, I have the track map too, but honestly, before doing any broadcasting, I don't know the corner names at all. So I don't even know the numbers at all. So, yeah, I mean, congratulations on second place. I think you definitely had a shot to win. I mean, you had a shot to win last week. Going into Nürburgring, this is Nürburgring Grand Prix, not the Nordschleife. Any thoughts about that next week?
Honestly, feeling really good about it. It's a track I've put a lot of laps in. Granted, mostly with Formula One cars, but I've also done a fair amount of GT3, although a lot of it on Assetto Corsa. I'm definitely feeling a lot more positive than I was heading into this week, where I ended up with a pretty surprising finish in the end. So yeah, pretty excited.
Hey, anybody you want to thank out there? Sponsors, family, friends?
Oh man, I think my brother might be watching or might be watching the replay, so shout out to him again. Shout out to Pit Viper Sunglasses once again, even though I'm not actually sponsored, they just make great sunglasses. Highly recommend it. And then last but not least, the Vale Brewing for making a great post-race beer. They're based down in Richmond. Highly recommend them as well.
Great. Well, congratulations. We'll see you next week at Nürburgring Grand Prix.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Hey, Dave, I got you up in the booth here.
Hey, Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Now, I was a little tense there for a while.
Well, you started fifth and you wound up in the front, but you laid down some pretty big laps during this race. So, congratulations on the victory, and you earned this one.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a couple of things fell my way. I know that the first couple of guys, once Darren and Hendrik had that incident early on, and I was able to pick up a few spots. I knew I might have a chance, but Hendrik did give me a run for the money. He ended up passing me when I came up on a slower car, and I gave him a warning, and I just said, we're coming through, and he rightfully moved out of the way, but I just spaced and I moved out of the way as well. So I just like put two wheels off, and he just scooted underneath me, and then the same thing happened to me and him later in the race. So it was a really good race, and I tell you, I didn't think I was going to be able to do as well as I did because qualifying fifth by I guess probably more than almost a second, I think, from first to fifth.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think I had the pace, but to be honest, I'm a much better racer than I am a qualifier. As long as I can get top half of the field, I feel like I can handle the rest once the flag drops.
Well, you certainly did. That's what I meant, like when I was saying that you really earned this one, because again, you qualified, maybe not the best, but when it came race time, you were setting your best lap. So Darren had the fastest lap, but your fastest lap was only a tenth off of him. So
well, that's something. Yeah, I'm really proud of that, because to get even in the same, universe as Darren is a doing.
Exactly right. So, well, congratulations on the victory. Are you going to be here next week? I know. So I was mentioning that you hadn't been here for a couple of weeks, and after the first race, you were kind of a championship contender, and after missing a couple, you're maybe not so much a championship contender, but you're going to be here at Nürburgring.
We'll see. I run a league for the Washington D.C. region, SCCA. And that kicked off last week. Oh, sorry, this week. And I've been doing a lot of prep for that. And that's a pretty big league. We get about 40 cars per race. We got 280 league members. So it takes a little bit of my time. I do enjoy racing with these guys. it makes it, it's just a good league to be in, and I like the size. So I will try to get back, but it's come down to about 3 days a week now racing, and then my family's starting to get a little sick of that. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's the peril of all sim racers is you want to race more, but there's obviously real life gets in the way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But, work-life balance, work-life iRacing balance.
That's right. Hey, anybody else you want to shout out? Any sponsors, family, friends, that kind of stuff?
Again, I just want to thank Scott for putting this together and getting us here every week. He's doing a great job. I like the way that the communication is within the league. So he's doing a great job. Just want to let him know that I'm appreciative, because I know how much work goes into these things, and really hope that I can get back next week.
All right. Well, congratulations on the victory. And actually, Scott, speaking of him, he finished 6th. So I think that's his best finish of the season. So he had a really good run out there today.
He kind of rolled over on me. I think as I was coming up, he was running 3rd after some carnage, and he just sort of moved out of the way.
Yeah, I think that he wanted to.
A bit more.
I think he might have wanted to just finish this one. So maybe we should get him up in the booth here.
Yeah, have a talk to him and make sure he's okay with the way it went down.
All right, I will do that. Yeah, thanks. Take care. Hey, Scott, I got you up in the booth if you're still there.
Hey, Matt.
We were just talking about, you had a really good run this week, and tell me about your race.
Yeah, it was, let's see, so I just started learning this track on Tuesday. I just kind of, got off work and just started playing with it, and really got into it. I mean, it's the type of track that I really like, just kind of flows and, mild elevation changes. Kind of reminds me of Mosport and Barber, and 2 of my favorite tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, and I had a good start. I just kind of watched the carnage happen.
Yes.
Joe and I were just like, okay, don't do anything, even, and I was gaining up on Joe, and I was like, wow, this, we're both like, I can't believe this is happening. Just kind of try and enjoy this for a while until the fast guys come around, and yeah, we just kept it clean. In fact, I kept it clean all the way till the end. I just gave Joe a little tap at the end because he wouldn't let me by. But yeah, it was a fun race. It was really good, and
yeah,
Dave, it's a little tight, and yeah.
Dave thought you might have been a little bit too nice to him, letting him go, though.
So again, I'm usually on the receiving end, so I wanted to, I just wanted to keep it clean and just, let the guys go. Brian Kennedy, I know guys are just, tad bit faster than me, so I was like, you know what, just keep going, and we'll keep it smooth here. So
yeah, you wanted to make sure you finish the race, because that's the key to this whole thing, and yeah.
Thing I want to do is, if I finish top 5, that'd be good. Otherwise, but yeah, Joe and I, I was chasing Joe at the end, and Peter was in the middle, and it was fun. It was good.
Well, congratulations, because I knew you had some kind of really bad luck in the last couple races. So here you got some valuable points for this championship and that whole thing. So
yep.
All right,
so we got one more next week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nürburgring Grand Prix. Do you know that one?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, get practicing, and we'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, take care.
Okay.
All right, so that was our race for today. We got the podium and our admin on the interview there. I'll go through the results. We've got Dave Fitzgerald taking the lead here. Hendrick in 2nd. Darren Treacle in 3rd. Rafael Torres in 4th. Joseph Katrides in 5th. Scott Kim, our admin there, in 6th. Colin Kordenik coming back 7th. Robert Stokes in 8th. 9th is Stephen Tenney. Brian Kennedy is going to be our final point scorer of the race in 10th. Peter Lanik is our points leader. I think he'll still be in the points lead going into the next race, but he's not scoring any points today. Robert Benson in 12th, Sten Stellier in 13th, and Tim Bradford winding up top 14. And then me finishing 5th because I joined the server in the wrong way. So This is my first race of the season. Didn't return a lap and finished 15th. Not too bad, I don't think. So thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate BMW Car Club National Capital Chapter for having me broadcast these. And for Race First, this is Matt Houston. Hope you guys have a good week, and we'll be back here on Sunday for the IndyCar Race First IndyCar League, and then we'll be back here for some BMW stuff. Nürburgring Grand Prix next Thursday. So take care of yourselves.